Ronda Rousey was once one of the most prominent female fighters in the UFC, but just when it looked like she was gonna take off, she fell harder than any fighter in recent history. She has recently begun wrestling in the WWE and lately had been tied to some rumors regarding WrestleMania. In today's video, we're gonna be diving into these rumors and finding out what is true and what isn't. So, stick around because you won't want to miss a second of this video. First up, how the mighty have fallen. Believe it or not, there was once a time when Ronda Rousey was one of the biggest names in female fighting. She was on top of the world in terms of popularity and was actually seeing some pretty decent results. In fact, she was fresh off an Olympic bronze medal in judo in 2008 when she decided to sign on with an MMA league and King of the Cage back in 2011. This was just the beginning of her rise to fame in the fighting world, and she was not even close to the top. Despite being the only American woman to win a medal at the Olympics in judo, Ronda fought in King of the Cage and quickly began racking up the wins and the popularity. Her name was rising and it looked like she was poised to begin a very successful career in MMA. Rousey quickly took her talents to Strikeforce following her success in King of the Cage and became the bantamweight champion very quickly. She actually happened to be the very last bantam champion of Strikeforce, as not long after the league was purchased by the UFC and Ronda officially became a UFC fighter. Not only did she become a UFC fighter after the acquisition, but she also became the first ever female bantamweight champion in UFC history, since she held the title at the time of the acquisition. While this may be a bit of a cop-out in terms of being named a champion, Ronda did not have to wait long in order to defend her title and prove that she earned this belt, regardless of what league she was fighting in. Ronda had to face off against Liz Carmouche in 2013 and defeated her late in the first round with a submission. The fight was nasty and both combatants suffered injuries, including Ronda suffering a dislocated jaw, but this was the beginning of Ronda's reign in the UFC, which lasted an astonishing 4 years, seeing Ronda go undefeated in that time until her fateful bout with Holly Holm, which changed everything. But all good things must come to an end. Just when things were looking at their best for Ronda, she had to face off against Holly Holm. Now, the weird thing about this fight was that Ronda was undefeated heading into the fight, and Holly was the clear underdog. It seemed like an easy win for Ronda, that she would enter the ring, take Holly down, and continue her undefeated streak. Nobody saw the fight going the way it did. I mean, how could anyone bet against Ronda? She had 6 wins in the UFC, and yet she had only been in the ring for a total of 1,077 seconds, which roughly equates to about 18 minutes. How do you win 6 UFC fights in only 18 minutes? You have an average fight time of 2 minutes and 59 seconds. That's how. Which of course is hilariously lower than the average fight time of every single weight class in the UFC. The next fastest average time for a single match came from the heavyweight division and was 7 minutes and 59 seconds, literally a full 4 minutes longer. People may forget just how good Ronda was back in her heyday, which made her fight against Holly Holm even more of a sure thing in the minds of fans. But when the time came for the two of them to step into the ring, things just didn't line up for Ronda. Ronda was on the defensive the second the match began and was being heavily outstruck in the first round. Ronda did end up surviving through the first round, but it seemed like if she didn't get her act together soon, she was gonna lose the fight. When Ronda stepped back on the mat for the second round, it was already over. Ronda's confidence was gone. It didn't take too much longer for Holly to find her opening and end Ronda's night, and subsequently her UFC career. In the blink of an eye, Holly caught Ronda with a head kick and knocked Ronda out cold, broke her undefeated streak, and lost her the title. Ronda flew back home and had a horrible battle with her mental health. It took a great deal of strength and courage for her to return to the UFC, which she eventually did when she went to war against Amanda Nunes in 2016. The return bout went equally as poorly for Rousey, and she ended up suffering a defeat early in the first round. After the fight, Ronda decided her time in the UFC was over, and she has never fought in the octagon since, and it does not look like she will do so ever again. Next, Ronda eventually found her place. After her devastating defeat at the hands of Amanda Nunes, Rousey was done with MMA and the UFC. So what was she gonna do next? Well, fans of Ronda knew that she was a big fan of wrestling and the WWE, and in fact, she had already appeared on WWE once before when she attended an event as a fan, but was quickly brought into the ring by none other than The Rock himself. Ronda also happened to go by the nickname Rowdy, which is eerily similar, or exactly the same as the nickname popularized by the former pro wrestler, the late great Rowdy Roddy Piper. Before his death, however, Ronda met with Piper to ask for his blessing for the nickname being passed down to her, and he gladly obliged, allowing her to take the mantle of Rowdy. When Ronda was done with the UFC, she quickly found herself making a surprise appearance at Royal Rumble in 2018, in which she announced that she had signed a contract with the WWE and was going to be a full-time wrestler. Ronda donned the original Rowdy jacket that Roddy Piper had made famous, which was given to her by his son. Ever since then, Ronda has been using her background in MMA to bring entertainment to millions in the form of pro wrestling, and has seemed to find a passion for performing. While it may not be big of a deal as the UFC, it seems to be making Ronda happy, and that should be all that matters. Up next, Ronda caught up in WrestleMania Rumours. Ronda punched her ticket to this year's WrestleMania when she defeated Charlotte Flair at the Royal Rumble back in January. It was expected that she would be the final match for the Friday taping, but apparently, something changed in the scheduling, and it appeared that Stone Cold Steve Austin would be taking that slot for his fight instead. This caused people to believe that Ronda walked out of the taping in disbelief. A report read that Ronda discovered she was no longer scheduled to go on last on Friday, and in a shocking development, walked out of Friday's taping before the Hall of Fame ceremony unfolded. Well, this was news to Ronda. She quickly took to Twitter to clear the air and tell her side of the story. Ronda said, "I don't know where these reports came from, but it was an absolute honor to perform under Steve Austin at WrestleMania in Texas." She continued on by saying, "I wasn't at the Hall of Fame because I have a 6-month-old baby I had to put to sleep early. People are literally creating drama out of thin air." I'm honestly most surprised that Ronda was shocked at the idea of people making drama out of thin air. I mean, this is the WWE, is it not? This league is built on drama being made out of thin air. If it wasn't for the rumors and drama, pro wrestling would have been abandoned a long time ago. It seems like nothing is going to come from this whole thing, and that Ronda simply had to take care of her 6-month-old child. Seems like a legit excuse to me, but if people want to take this for more than it is, go right ahead. It seems like everything is fine with Ronda and the test of the WWE community, so I think this will just blow over as quickly as it became a story. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Were you a fan of Ronda Rousey when she was in the UFC? Do you think that she could possibly return to either judo or the UFC? Do you watch her as a pro wrestler now? Let us know what you have to say in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss a single upload from us here at the channel. Thank you all once again, and we'll see you all in the next video.